Hello, everybody, and welcome to. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? Hello, and welcome to the Press Start podcast, Press Start Australia's weekly video game discussion podcast. I'm your host, James, joined today by my fellow gamers and co hosts, Shannon,
Hello.
Kieran,
Hello.
and Ewan.
Was the issue there, James, that you had to
You've
substitute
written
your
the
own
old-
name for mine
yeah,
because I had written the
like,
script
it's-
wrong?
Yeah, no, that's.
I'm sorry to throw you under the bus like that.
Yeah, it's a sabotage, I say.
Yeah.
So, Ewan, to start off with, has your Alan Wake 2 bug been resolved yet?
I'm glad you asked, James. Yes, it has. As I
really
was
wanted to
writing the agenda for today's show, it had not been resolved, but literally in the last hour or so as of recording, Brody sent me a screenshot from it was a tweet of the main Alan Wake account saying they'd released a patch, and it was specifically for this bug. Maybe, well, there might have been a couple others in there, but they certainly called out this particular bug.
Specifically
It's now
for
their
you,
second,
I feel.
specifically for me. Well, it's now their second attempt at fixing this bug. And I'm very understanding, but also very impatient. I've been very eager to play more of this game. So I just fired it up. I was horrified that upon walking into the area at first, the bug was still present. But if you've been suffering like me, there's maybe two people listening to the podcast that are in the same boat, make some percentages. But you go up the elevator, back down the elevator, and the bug had cleared. So thankfully, I was able to activate the echo, and I can progress with the rest of the game.
And then you had
it's
to
a good
join
day
us
for you.
for this after weeks.
Yeah,
of waiting.
well, literally, yeah. This all happened 15 minutes ago, so I've not been able to play any more of the game.
Let's hope that
I've had to come here
it's
and
still
talk to you.
fixed when you go back to it and you're not stuck.
As soon as I cleared it, I was like, go to the save point, save, ready to move on. So fingers crossed, no more issues, and I can finally finish the game.
That's a good
Beautiful.
effort. How are you? Are you behaving differently on the internet to avoid spoilers?
No, I haven't been. Thankfully, I haven't incurred any spoilers. I've seen some people popping trophies and stuff, and sharing the screenshots when certain trophies pop, but none of that, or at least I've not paid it close enough attention for anything to be spoiled. Yeah, I don't know. Is the ending something that might be spoilable? Or?
I feel like as soon as you type the words of a game into anywhere, some algorithm on YouTube or something will just show you thumbnails and spoilers.
That's a good
stuff,
point.
so.
I've been very specific
Wake,
about
though,
searching for the bug. Sorry, Shan.
You've all spoken how there's a lot to be spoiled, or things that happen. I don't know if it's gameplay mechanics or whatever, because I haven't played it, but I haven't really seen anything. Maybe it's just because I haven't played it, so it wouldn't make sense in context. But Spider-Man, obviously my TikTok feed was just full of stuff.
Yeah.
I think even before it was out, of all the big moments.
I'd imagine I think Spider-Man, it's probably it's more easy to be straightforward.
Yeah,
Mary Jane is Venom ? And then a screenshot or
yeah. And it's
Spider-Man
also I guess in the case of Spider-Man, there's these kind of climactic moments that I think people would react to, and I can imagine people videoing that and sharing that.
There is definitely stuff you could ruin for people with Alan Wake, but a lot of you would you need the context, I guess, for it to be impactful, I guess.
Yeah, excited to play more of it.
Kieran?
Can't wait to get back to it.
Sorry?
Have you finished it, Kieran?
No, I was talking to Ewan before. I'm pretty sure I'm still up to where he is as well. Not because of the bug, but just because of life.
Life is a bug.
Life is a bug.
It is. We're all just waiting for that patch.
My poorly developed life.
Would someone please issue a hotfix?
Some people are speed running it, I hear. But yes,
some people have cheat codes.
Yes, some people do. You're right. Some people are born with them.
Not to get political.
Some people find them halfway along. Who knows? Anyway, we're going to talk more about Remedy later in the show, as well as some nice chats about Silent Hill, its big triumphant return to life. The Modern Warfare 3
campaign. The word triumphant.
There's things that are impressive about it.
Okay.
The PlayStation 5 Slim Teardown, and I think maybe more. But let's go straight into Silent Hill. It's been a fun time. It's a great time to be a Silent Hill fan. Obviously, so many projects in the works. They definitely led with their best one, I'm sure. So Silent Hill Ascension basically started, I guess, or debuted or premiered last week, I think, on Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
For people who like haven't been following, Ascension is I think JJ Abrams is involved somehow. It's basically like an interactive series where everybody can I guess vote on how the characters and stuff behave.
That's
and
slanderous if he's not. I feel.
I'm very sure he's involved. Like, I wouldn't just pull that from nowhere. Like, that has to be,
I'm fact checking.
Yeah, do it for me. I wouldn't make that up.
There's a fandom entry page. It's promising.
Well, yeah, there's a fandom page. We're good. So yeah, I tuned in. I didn't change my life to tune in. Like, I was sitting on my computer and it was happening, so I was like, sure, why not? But yeah, it's a little bit disastrous, to be honest. Like, I don't know if I think there are ways that this could have been successful. I don't know if, like, say, Silent Hill as a brand had all these like new projects announced last year, and then the first one they put out is this one, and it's kind of iffy in terms of the quality, and I don't think they even know what like Silent Hill is like in terms of the concepts and the stories and stuff. But it's just a bit of a like when I logged the first thing you see when you log in is like buy the founders pack, and I was like, what is this? It's like a season pass, but it's an interactive series, right? So you're just watching and voting. But you can actually buy influence points so that like your votes matter more than other people's. So that's obviously weird, and it's just I don't know, like it's not good. Like it was just like this really weird, like stilted CG movie thing, but like I don't really feel like it does anything to kind of like move the series forward in any way.
Remind me again, because I didn't tune in to watch it. If I remember correctly, it kind of landed in like the middle of a work day, right? Here in Australia, at least.
Yeah, so for me it was like 9 a.m. I think. So
yeah, okay,
yeah, and that
morning of a work day.
So the way that it works is like I guess is I think they repackage. I think what everyone votes on there, obviously that becomes like the canon choice, and that all gets repackaged as like a full episode at the end of each week or something, and you can watch that on the website or through PlayStation or something like that. But yeah, like I don't know, I in terms of like how I rate the experience so far, like it's not particularly good, and it's a mix of things. Like it's definitely the way the internet is. Like obviously they also had to turn the chat off because everyone kept asking for Pyramid Head to turn up and impregnate them and stuff, and obviously like that's not. I don't think that's really people just got weird, and then like because you can pay to boost your chat message as well. Like there's a lot of ways they can kind of take money from you, right? So someone kind of rallied behind the idea that they could pay to boost a message that was like Hideo Kojima Kami in my tummy or something. So like,
can you say that on the podcast?
I don't know, but the whole chat got flooded with that, and then it became a meme, and then they just had to turn the chat off. So now there's like no chat anymore. The internet's officially like ruined that, and you can only communicate through stickers, and you can buy stickers with real money if you want. Like there's just weird. I mean, of course they had to make money, right? There has to be a way to make money from this, but like I don't really know if that is the way to do it.
And like when it came to the decision making, like how did that play out? Like were people kind of deliberately throwing it and kind of making the seemingly dumb decision, or was it set up in such a way that it could progress pretty naturally?
It's hard to really say because I don't feel. I mean, I don't know if you felt this way, Kieran. Like I didn't feel like I was impacting it a lot. Like there's definitely like you could vote once, right? And I didn't really want to spend money, so I didn't spend any extra money. If there's a choice that you want to like be more popular, you can use money to create rallies for that choice, which like kind of makes it more visible for everyone else to pick. Like it's a really odd system. Yeah, like I don't know, like I think that this could work for like a brand that hasn't been dormant for like over a decade. You know, like I feel like there's some really popular brand somewhere that this could
Yeah.
work for. Because it's basically like a crowd-funded
It's
supermassive
it
game,
sounds
right?
like Pokemon play or like Twitch plays Pokemon. I've forgotten what the exact order of words was for that, but that kind of like
Yeah.
crowdsourced decision making,
Mm.
which I suppose has kind of been kicking around as a concept for a little bit while, but no one's really made an effort to monetize it in quite the same way. Like a
Yeah.
Bandersnatch, that like Netflix experience, that was like unique for every viewer. It wasn't a simulcast sort of thing.
Yeah, so this is
Um,
more like everyone shapes what canon plays out, right? Like, and I think
yeah,
I remember the first choice was like, is this person going to perform a ritual on the person, not do the ritual, or like help them escape? Like there was three options, and
yeah,
it might fade to another scene, but and then you've got like a day to kind of vote on that, and then that choice will kind of be shown in the next episode.
yeah.
So you have a lot of, it's not like super real time, like you have a few, like a day or so usually between each choice. There were some QTE parts too where I couldn't really work out how that worked, because like I was hitting every single one, but then it's like you weren't, but then Kieran hit all of them and said he was successful, but then like the whole group fucked up, so the person got plunged into hell or something. So like there are more interactive elements than I kind of expected there to be. But that feels iffy, or I don't know if it's lag or what the go is. But
From like a lore point of story point of view, like is that interesting as a Silent
no.
Hill fan? Wow, okay.
Such a
Like,
quick answer.
Well, that's like if that was interesting, like you maybe would put up with it, but if it's not, then
it's like
why bother?
they just thought like, yeah, Silent Hill is about cults, like, and that's it, and like people wrapped
Right,
in
okay.
chains chasing you. Like that's not really what it is, you know.
So none of it felt particularly familiar as Silent Hill. There was just like similar motifs that were kind of pulled out of it.
Just really loose ones, like sloppy, loose ends.
Right.
Like when you say it's people affecting
Sloppy loose.
like canon, like do you think that means that this is going to play into like another actual game? Like have they said that?
They haven't really. I've if they have said that, I reckon they'll be changing their tune pretty soon.
Okay.
But when they say shape the canon, I mean obviously the story takes place, but because it doesn't even take place in Silent Hill, like it's in somewhere in Scandinavia, I think, like Norway or something.
I think it was like an American town and then like Norway in like the two different.
So like they could be like, yeah, it is canon, but then it's so far removed from everything, it doesn't really, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
it's
that's
happened,
like
but
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's like a very
if it
safe
plays
way.
no impact on anything, like who cares?
Yeah. But then I do think this would probably cop more flack if it played directly into. But the thing with Silent Hill is like I feel like each game has been pretty self-contained. Like they are their own tales. It's more about the town.
Yeah.
Um.
So I just opened up the
Yeah.
app for the first time on my phone to kind of experience what it would be like in this very moment. And it's gone straight into a video player. So like, does that mean you can kind of experience it like you can do your own kind of unique playthrough of the first episode now, and then the kind of live event will happen for the second episode, and that will be the canon one, but otherwise people can see different iterations play out in their own time?
I don't know if that is how it's going to work. I would like to think probably you could see the other options, because they would have made all of them ahead of time, right? Like they would have created all that content. I do think there will be some way to view all that stuff, but at the moment I don't think there is. And this is meant to go for 6 months. And like I feel like in this first week, like, yeah, I don't know.
They're going to lose steam, I think. Like it sounds like it should have just been a one and done kind of situation, really.
Yeah.
The hills will remain silent, put it that way. Like, yeah.
Kieran, as someone else that was there to watch it, like, did you feel like this was a nice? I don't know. And the both of you were there.
No, I'm just saying we're saying it like it's a big event.
Yeah,
like
it's a claim to
I was
fame.
there. You bought the T-shirt. I survived Silent Hill Ascension. I don't know what your history is with Silent Hill, but like, is this a reintroduction to the series for you? And like, do you feel like this was a good way to go about it?
I mean, like I've played most of the games. Like I have a passing interest in Silent Hill, but like I just feel like this, even if they had gotten the story right or done something right, like the tone just doesn't fit the like mechanic that they've built around it. Because I know like Genvid, who are like the production company, they've got other stuff in the pipeline. They've got like DC and I think Borderlands. And like those things I feel like more like at least tonally would fit that like crowd, kind of like everyone getting together, like having fun, like, you know, chatting, sending stickers. Like it's just like none of that fits Silent Hill at all. I feel like if you wanted to craft an interactive like Silent Hill experience, you'd do something like eye tracking or like audio or like some kind of interactive element that plays on like the psychological and the fear and stuff. And this is like the polar opposite of that.
It almost feels something that'd be better suited to like if Netflix was going to do a Fortnite anime or something like that. Maybe even like with the Cyberpunk
can you
show
scrub
or
that
something
sentence
like that.
from like the podcast?
No,
Netflix doing a Fortnite anime.
that could, I could see that happening. Like some,
but like
kind of
tonally, that's a better fit, right?
Yeah,
like the
100%.
Adventures of Peely and Meowscles. Like that could be a thing.
Are those Fortnite characters?
Yeah,
What?
they're my
Really?
two favorites. Yeah, and Cluck. I love Cluck.
Is Peely a banana?
He is a banana. Well
Yes.
done.
How do you
Meowscles is
know
like
so
a
much
really
about
buff
Fortnite
cat.
characters?
I'm not going to tell anyone about that. No.
I do know Meowscles.
Yeah. I've.
But
Anyway,
yeah. Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, my big thing with this, and I don't think this will happen, obviously, but I do worry that obviously this will like bomb and everyone hates it and everyone's like done. Like, I hope this doesn't kind of affect anything else. In terms of Konami's other Silent Hill projects. But I'm still like, obviously Townfall, it still sounds really good. Because if you've played Stories Untold, that's an amazing game. Like, and obviously the 2 remake, I don't know how I feel about that. But I still want to try it. But yeah, like I think this is the worst way for them to bring the series back. And between this and like Master Collection, like I'm not really sure how I feel about. I thought maybe Konami could maybe have the same kind of success that Capcom's seeing, bringing all their stuff back. But I don't know if it's going to go. If it's playing out the same way. But at the same time, I respect them for doing something different. But yeah. There'll be no more ascending here, I fear.
I feel like the Metal Gear example might be an entirely different, like, kind of kettle of fish, I suppose. But you're right to bring up the Capcom example. I think they kind of like really set a blueprint on like how to do it, and they've found success, rightfully so, with the Resident Evil series. So yeah, I don't know. Konami, I don't think are off to a great start. Maybe the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 kind of like changes things. But already last week we had complaints about like the way that looked in comparison to the kind of tone and atmosphere, I suppose, of the original, right? So that I think that's kind of what Shannon did like it, yeah. But like, although I don't have any kind of history to the original titles, I kind of get the sense that that's the one thing that Capcom like stuck to, was like the kind of tone and mood of the games, and they just kind of reimagined everything else. Anyhow, the point was to say they set a good blueprint. Konami would be wise to follow it.
Speaking of blueprints, there wasn't a very good one in place for Modern Warfare 3's campaign, apparently. So obviously, early reviews of the campaign are live on a handful of outlets, and the consensus seems to be that it sucks. IGN gave it a 4 out of 10. Ewan's also written that IGN also gave it a 5 out of 10 in my notes, but
sorry, that was GameSpot.
GameSpot gave it a 5 out of 10. So
yeah,
I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I feel like this happens every year, right? I don't know if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm seeing in a lot of the groups, everybody's like, "Oh, it's short and shit."
Nah,
and like,
I think
this
is different.
It's on another level. I think like it's like this was no attempt to put a campaign together from what
and historically we've had like really good single player stories. Like the original Modern Warfare run was great. Black Ops people loved.
People love to hate Call of Duty, I think is what James is trying to say. Like, it could have been good and people would still find a way to shit on it. But yeah, this seems really different.
Yeah.
I did see a clip where in the campaign you have to sneak in to somewhere, and if you get seen, you can kind of run away and wait for the guards to come and attack you. But then the game just kills you instantly because you're not meant to be seen. Like, it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. They didn't die because the guards attacked them. They just died because they were seen. Like, that seems kind of like shitty scripting.
Well, I don't know if that's the worst thing in the world to call out. Like, plenty of games.
Well, that's all I've seen. I haven't really actively looked for this.
I think the biggest criticisms that I've seen, like reading the reviews, were like the open combat missions, which was something that they were like touting in the lead up to being like, hey, we've got new like open combat missions, and pretty much what they did is just section off bits of the Warzone map and like let you run around and complete objectives, and it's like really like antithetical to like what Call of Duty campaigns are, which is really big bombastic set pieces and very heavily directed and like kind of give you a sense of like the action. So just to like plonk you in what is normally a battle royale map and be like, go shoot stuff, seems super at odds.
Does it surprise anyone that this could be one of the worst COD campaigns?
No, I think based on the fact that it was meant to be an expansion initially, and like everything else we know about it, not having a platinum, and things like that, I think it's probable. Like, I don't know for sure that this probably didn't have a campaign at some point in its life, and I think that's very telling with what we've got. I think it's weird timing. I don't know like how this went down in terms of like, did they just have to put a release together because they wanted to be more appealing to Microsoft, or they felt like it wasn't the year to do it? It just feels odd.
And I think like the balance of that kind of like 3-year development cycle for Call of Duty, like they're still like kind of struggling to fall back into the rhythm after things were switched around, and I'm sure COVID kind of impacted things as well. But yeah, I sort of feel campaigns have kind of been on a downwards trajectory anyhow, and I don't feel like this is kind of all of Modern Warfare 3's problems. Like Shannon's kind of alluded to a couple there as well, but there's things like the weapon tuning kind of being left out of it, like things that kind of people like have come to expect. And yes, there's always an element of like, okay, like the dolphin dive is in this game and then it's out of the next. Like they're continually like tinkering with the mechanics, but this doesn't feel so much of like experimentation for the sake of progression. It feels like kind of regression for the sake of like, we were short on time and resources to put this game out.
Yeah,
but
the
we put it
multiplayer will
out
be
anyway,
interesting,
and we charge full price for it anyway.
Like, I didn't play the beta, which is rare for me. Normally I'll jump in early, but I know people that did just said it felt sort of more like Modern Warfare, which it is Modern Warfare 3, so you're going to have that year to year. But like Ewan just touched on, normally they will change up some mechanics or take them out or add something they've had in the past to make it feel fresh somehow. So that'll be interesting.
I feel like now more than ever, it's kind of, they need to start thinking about what Call of Duty looks like as, well, I don't know, maybe everyone will feel different in this. I could convince myself otherwise as well. But like, what does it look like as a game as a service? Something, it's a Netflix anime, yeah.
It is. I feel like it ongoing. Is that.
Because we're like, pretty much there, right?
Is?
And with what like kind of.
That's what they tried to do. Like, it's just Call of Duty now, and then there's all the games within. It's like the Assassin's Creed model, but they're still charging $120 a year or whatever it is.
Or Just Dance.
Even installing the game seems confusing as all hell.
It is confusing. Like, yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
There's just too much money there. It's the same with FIFA. Like, that could be one game that just gets updated every year. But like, when you're selling 15 million copies at $100, like, you're just never going to go back from that.
No.
Until you're not selling that anymore, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon for COD. I guess Game Pass is where it maybe gets interesting, but I feel like, again, Microsoft have said time and time again, and they've made those commitments that like, yeah, it's going to be a yearly release that they charge for. So I don't know if you can really go too far in that direction when you still have to put it out on every platform now.
Yeah, I do wonder if it kind of gets bundled in like as a subscription like that though, like in the same way for Starfield, you paid the like premium kind of extra to get access to it sooner. Or the way that like if you've got an Amazon Prime subscription, like you can get access to extra channels and they just kind of add on to your subscription, right? I wonder if they'll explore something similar with Game Pass, where you're paying the $15 a month or whatever it is for Game Pass, and then if you want to add like the latest Call of Duty subscription to that as well, like it's an extra, maybe even $100. Like maybe some of those games are that much. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they need to think of a better system for rolling out these updates, if
I don't
that's
know,
how they're treating it now.
but like they shouldn't. I don't know if they should do it that. Do you mean like have two? So if you're buying Game Pass and then you want COD, you need to pay extra. Kind of
Yeah.
like how Disney did it with
Nintendo, the
was it
Nintendo
Mulan
model.
or something? Like you had those premium. There was like the streaming service, but then also those premium things you had to pay like extra for.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, but doesn't that make
Game
I think
Pass
it's gonna.
pretty
I think
irrelevant.
I see both sides.
Mm.
Like people are gonna hate that, and that's gonna go against what Game Pass is. But like to make this worth it for them, they're gonna have to do that. I think because again, you're not just gonna give up $100 per
No.
person for nothing.
It is
I don't
funny
think.
though how like everyone complained bitterly for like decades, I suppose, about cable and like how you want the entertainment bundle, but that's in a different package. I'm riffing South Park now. But like we're kind of at that again now, and we're probably like collectively for all of these kind of subscriptions we have, like Adobe Creative Cloud and stuff, like software has kind of gone the same route. We're paying more than the kind of original bundle might have been.
I don't think we're at the point though where it's like, you know how they would put two wildly different things in the same package, so like nobody would really, everything you'd want would be in 3 different packages. It's not going to be like,
No.
you know, this package
Yes.
includes
Yeah.
Just Dance and COD, like, and then
Yeah.
there's like another package with Battlefield and something else.
Yeah.
Just Let's
Game of
Sing
Thrones
or
is in
something.
one package, but House of the Dragon is in another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I getcha.
Do you think like this might make them take a break from a year or no?
I don't think they're ever going to do
I think
that
the
at
thing
this
is
point.
like even if it is shit, people still buy it. Like that's the that's the thing. Like they still will make all that money, so why would they slow down? But I always think about like what Ubisoft did with Assassins. Like I feel like that was pretty like smart of them to do after Syndicate, and then obviously they came back with Origins, and that really redefined what the series could be. I don't know if that would be.
I think it's odd that they released the campaign a week early, given it is, and they obviously knew it was awful, and under like that just seems like a weird decision to me for them. I know they would have charged more for it and whatever, but like just think of the negative perception of just that. It's odd.
Well, I feel like it's all that people are talking about now with it.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, I suppose
yeah.
how many people though really care about the campaign that buy Call of Duty though. Like
Well, that's the
they've
other
talked
question
about
too,
cutting it
like-
before. Like maybe people will see, the campaign got a 5 out of 10. Wasn't going to play it anyway. Like I'll wait to see. They're not going to even wait to see what the multiplayer review is like. Let's face it. Like there's such this
But
kind
then,
of
like, they,
consensus
like, I
around
remember-
Call of Duty. It's like you just have to have the latest and greatest, and everyone jumps in at the same point.
when Black Ops 4 didn't have a campaign, I feel like that was a big like people were really upset about that. Like people,
Yeah, but it's the same way that anyone's vocal about anything, right? Like they all
Yeah,
go
everyone
up in
seems
arms
to,
about
like,
it, and then it comes out,
shut
and
up.
like 10% of players actually play it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
maybe I'm a bit cynical now. I'm starting
Yeah.
to sound like a grumpy old gamer. Listen to me.
Yeah, well, welcome to the club. That's all yeah. I don't have a good segue, so we're just going to move on to the next topic. Some early units of the PlayStation 5 Slim. What's the official name? Does it have a name? Is it just the PlayStation 5?
PlayStation 5.
Yeah, right. Have made their way into the hands of a couple of YouTubers who have demonstrated size comparisons before disassembling them, as any normal person would do. So obviously we've got a better idea of what it looks like and stuff. Obviously, Shannon, we'll go to you first because you love this shit. Like, what do you think? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Hit me with your tech.
Yeah, it's. I think it's like, I don't know, size wise, I feel like it's roughly the same as what we thought based on all those mock-ups. I still think it's odd that, like, again, like we're seeing these random bootleg unboxings from D brand sending people them early rather than Sony just showing something themselves in terms of like sizes. But yeah, size wise, I think it's like it looks good in terms of like fitting in an entertainment unit or taking it to the office or a mate's house or something. Like obviously that's an improvement. I don't know, the design, like every time I see it, I'm a differ on it. Like I don't really understand the two-tone design, although I totally forgot that like every PlayStation console had that at some point in the last few generations. Yeah, I don't hate like the break in the faceplates just because it breaks it up a bit. And the disc drive mechanic is really cool how they've engineered that, but I don't know. There's not a lot to say. It's smaller, which is always going to be good. It's still ugly. I think the bump is even bigger. With D-Brand's cases, that'll make it even smaller again. So that's a positive, I think, for anyone and everyone.
Yeah. It's amazing how they just like kind of riff off the design and in some ways improve it. I'm not a big fan of the two-tone kind of element to it. How like one is still kind of like the matte finish, but the top bit is glossy. That does look a bit on the tackier side, but I totally agree with you. Like the way the disc drive, if you haven't watched one of the teardown videos, it's worth seeing just for how that disc drive connects. It seems like super simple, just kind of like slot it in and you're kind of good to go. So yeah, it's really neat. You just unlocked a memory though. Like it is weird that we haven't seen more from PlayStation on it, considering like when the PS5 was first shown off, they did like a full teardown of it.
Are these
Yeah, but
official?
maybe-
Like, have they been sent?
No.
So people
No.
just.
D-Brand got them from somewhere. It's a big talking
Oh, like
point
literally
online.
D brand. I
Yeah.
thought like
Yeah.
the skin. Oh, I thought you meant like D grade brands.
No,
Actual D
the
brand.
brand D brand
Right.
got one and then sent it to the YouTuber Linus Tech Tips for like
And
a
another
sponsored
one.
video.
There's two of them.
Yeah,
Oh right, yeah.
Does this have a date
Um,
for us or anything or anyone yet? Like, it's a bit
tomorrow,
official.
isn't it? I think in the US it's launching with
Right.
COD
Okay.
for this
Yeah.
week. So like it was going to happen anyway. I just think it's odd. Yeah, I don't really understand why PlayStation wouldn't want to show it. Because they're not positioning it as a slim. Like it's just an improvement on the original. I think that's why they're probably not. Because it still is massive.
It's also not
but-
radically different. Like when you see the internals taken apart, like it's not hugely different. Like the I guess tech
Yeah,
channels
it's not
picking
a
up on it
slim.
because they can spot the minute differences, but there's no real change to like the size of the chip and like the efficiency of the machine. I don't think there was a great deal of difference in like the way it's cooled or like the sound that it creates, that kind of thing. And as
How
we
do
discussed last
we
week as well, it's pretty quiet to begin with. Anyway,
feel
so-
about the USB port changes on the front? I feel like there's still quite a few headsets, and I guess you've got them on the back, but like that's quite a change depending on what you've got plugged into your PS5. Losing that port at the front.
The USB-A port, you mean?
Yeah.
Having more USB-C?
But I
Yeah.
guess USB-C, we love it.
Is there not USB-A at the back though?
There is at the back, but if you've got like, there might be like a dongle situation, like some like go up or down or vertical, where you couldn't have like a hard
Oh.
drive and a dongle or something in that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just different, unique,
Yeah.
unusual.
Truthfully, I never use the front USB ports, so I'm the wrong person to ask. I don't have a VR headset, so if I had one of those, I guess I'd be using USB-C port. Yeah, I actually don't like them. I think they ruin the kind of face of the console a little bit. USB-C is a little smaller, but the USB-A port looks like a big hole in the front of your console. I actually thought it's a bit weird that no one's kind of invented like little rubber plugs or something that you can like fill them in with, or I don't know, some way to close it
I
up.
think it's weird that you thought of that.
Yeah,
Personally.
you're just going into fantasy territory.
Maybe there's a business idea we should do. Press start plugs.
Plug my hole.
Full guy. I'm here for it.
Yes,
Plug
let's
my
do press
front
start
hole
plugs.
.com. Yeah.
Just so we're clear. Plugs for the PlayStation.
For all of the
Yeah.
ports.
For the front and back.
Yeah.
The dust gets in there, you know, it's not hygienic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, based on what yeah, I'm sure it's not.
Wash before and after use.
I know when we talked about this last time, like most people were like, "Oh, no, I'm good." But are we still feeling that way? To me, it looks like
Yeah.
the $30 Wish.com PS5. Like I don't
See, that-
I don't
A
really
little
like,
bit.
I don't know. Like,
the look.
I haven't. I think I've said this. Like, I haven't had faceplates on my PS5 for like a year since I got my new entertainment unit, and like it
I
hasn't
think that's
died.
hilarious,
So like,
by the way.
do they serve a purpose? Like, I'm not convinced that they even do.
Well,
to be
You've been
honest.
that's-
using your PS5, so surely it's fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about like when I was watching like the teardown videos on this one, like without the faceplates on it is significantly smaller
Yeah.
than like the bare PS5, like original PS5. It feels weird that they've made it smaller, but then stuck the big wavy faceplates
But
on
they're
it again.
smaller, right? Like the faceplates aren't as like tall from the
They're not
memory
as
of looking
big,
at
but
it.
they still add a lot to it. Like it's tiny without them on. I feel like they could have redesigned it, and people would be much more on board with it.
Yeah, that's
I
what
reckon
I
there's just
mean. Like
somebody really high up who likes the wing look. and
they
just
must.
can't
I reckon
do
they
it.
must. They
Like,
must help like the air go out, but like it must be like a 1 or 2 degree thing. Like there must be some reason. But yeah,
But
like
you
I
use your
said, mine hasn't
PS5
blown
heaps,
up
don't
yet.
you? And it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, like it. When I keep the cupboard closed, obviously it heats up at times. But yeah, it hasn't. Nothing bad has happened to it.
Yeah.
So that's the only, but again, I'm not looking at it, so I don't really care for the faceplates being on. But it'd be nice to like not have literally like have to slide my PS5 in at a very certain angle without the faceplates for it to fit.
Mm.
I can't remember who said it initially, but it might well have been one of you. But I think like the design philosophy behind it initially was to create something that kind of stood out in a living room. Whether or not that really contributed to any like airflow improvements or anything, I don't really know. I love actually the simplicity of the Xbox Series X's design. But then I guess
Same.
that's just my like I'm in an all black room at the moment, so shock horror.
They're both
But
beasts.
yeah,
Like you're not going to have them as a statement piece on your entertainment unit, I don't think, or at least I don't know. I wouldn't want them, but like yeah, it's
No.
less offensive.
Yeah. I would, to your question though, James, I would be tempted to get one of these if it was cheaper, but seeing as it's not, like in fact, more expensive, I think it is like it's $50 more or something.
It's only
right?
more expensive for digital though, right?
Right. Yeah. Like
And the
that
portal
would
exists
win
to
me
take
over.
up
If I
your-
could get a slightly cheaper, slightly smaller PS5 to like sit here on my desk versus like in the living room, so I had some options, or like I could kind of just fire up and stream here at my computer, like rather than having to lug my PS5 into the next room. Like I think it would be worth that convenience would be worth it for me, but only if it was like we were starting to see a downward trend on prices, and I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I'd hope that this one's being made cheaper to the point that they can drop it. Otherwise, I still don't really understand the point. I guess like
Yeah.
shipping costs and stuff, like it helps Sony, but yeah, the long-term strategy would be interesting to watch.
I wonder if that was the plan. Like the plan was for this to be cheaper, but just like the situation that we're in terms of the global economy at the moment suddenly rendered that impossible. And they're like, well, we've done the R&D, like it's here anyhow. We can save a bit on costs that are otherwise escalating. We're just going to have to keep the price the same, or like bump it up $50 for the digital version. Yeah,
Could be.
in this economy,
Anything's possible.
That's right, Shannon. Anything is
Speaking
possible.
of Remedy,
And in
remedying
world
the
of
price
Remedy-
increase of the...
Okay, I was trying to get to it. In the world of Remedy, anything is possible too. So obviously, Alan Wake 2 is out. It's great. We all love it, I think. Don't know about Shannon, but everyone else does, I think. And with that, Remedy offered an update on their other projects, Control 2 and Max Payne, namely. So a note to investors revealed that Control 2 continues in the proof of concept stage, and that the plans for this sequel are ambitious, and that they've seen good progress in both design and in the game build. They'll be continuing in that stage for the next few quarters. Which to me like suggests that obviously Control 2 is a little bit further away than we thought. I'm gonna like just say it. I'm really upset about this. I really wanted it to be the next game. Like I'm like all in on this world. Like put it in me wherever you like, sound, taste,
with a
vision.
pressed up
Like
plug.
do you want... Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I think I can recognize why they might want to give, I guess, this world a bit of a break, and I definitely think playing Alan Wake 2, you can see like a lot of, they're building a lot of New York, which to me can be used quite cleverly in building a Max Payne remake, kind of taking a page from Capcom's book, like with Village for RE4. But yeah, like what is there something you guys would want to see from a new controller? I think we've all played it, maybe, but I'm pretty keen to see what they could do. I don't know what, like, because, and this is obviously, this is separate from, they've got another game coming out called, the code name is Condor, and that's like a multiplayer game. So I don't really know what that will be. But yeah, thoughts?
Yeah,
feelings?
I don't. Remedy don't have two teams, do they? Like they've never had a second. Well, they must have. They must
I
to be
think
doing.
they must. I don't know. Let me quickly.
I'm getting.
I think I'm
like
surprised.
based on this like investor kind of release, I'm sort of operating under the assumption that they have a team that works pretty steadfastly on kind of like the pre-production kind of these games, and it sounds like a lot of their stuff, with the exception of Max Payne, which has been handled externally, like is kind of sat in a pre-production sort of stage and is like kind of ready for the full sort of scale up, which might well be like what they need the investment for. It's like, okay, we need the money in to recruit everyone that we need and kind of do all the kind of meat and bones of the game, like it's otherwise just there on paper, so to speak. But yeah, I'm a little disappointed Controller 2 doesn't seem to be the next cab off the rank. I mean, maybe it is, like assuming Max Payne kind of comes from elsewhere. Maybe the next one we see from Remedy themselves is Control 2. But yeah, I like that. Playing Alan Wake, the only Remedy games I'd played otherwise were Control and Quantum Break, and I love like how different each of these games are and how kind of differently they play. There's definitely like a Remedy hallmark there, but even kind of tonally, like it's very different. I like that Control can kind of be in its own lane whilst also still dealing with the same sort of subject matter and the same sort of themes and having such a strong emphasis on art direction in the same way Alan Wake does. But they're both kind of operating within different genres, I suppose. Like I don't know how much time of day I would have given Alan Wake, given if I hadn't played Control. There's maybe a couple of other factors in there, but like if you were into survival horror, but you played Control and you suddenly became invested in this world, maybe you would be considering giving Alan Wake a go, given how much you kind of liked the world that they created. So yeah, I hope we kind of just see more of that from Control, and they kind of step it up the next level and introduce some new powers and kind of dig a little deeper into the world of like altered events and stuff. Hopefully we don't have to wait forever for that to materialize.
Agree. Well said.
Yes. I'm excited to see what they can do with like more money, and I feel like they might have that after Alan Wake, and because I do feel like there was a point where, I mean, after Quantum Break, I don't think they were in trouble, but I think they were definitely had to pinch a few pennies, and I feel like Control did that really elegantly in that it was just really simple. Like worlds and enemies and weapons, like your weapon was literally blocks, but like they made it work in the realm of how the game like looks and stuff. And then obviously with Alan Wake 2, like you can see that Epic Money doing some good work. And then like obviously the word of mouth has been really good. I hope it really does work for them, money wise, because I'm excited to see what they can do with the sequel to Control, because that game really, to me, I mean, I've always loved them. I think they've always made really good games, but that game really kind of set the tone, I guess, for their style. And that mix of like live action and game and stuff. And obviously Alan Wake has kind of just taken that and run with it completely. But yeah, like I'm super keen to see what they do, and I love this open but not like, I guess, open level kind of design. Like it's not this massive open world like Assassins or Horizon or something. Like it is just this kind of contained, kind of like what God of War did as well, where you can kind of explore but not too much, but enough to be satisfying.
Yeah, and it does the Resident Evil thing of like, now I've got some bolt cutters. I can go back and go through this door. What will I find through there? Like, oh, it's this device that now lets me get through this door. I love all that. And they execute it so well. Do you think Alan Wake 2 will be, or already is, a commercial success? It's obviously a critical success, but like, are they going to see the monetary return on the game that they kind of hope to see?
I don't know, Yui. I don't know. All you can do is hope. Because it is good.
Surely it. I don't even. With Epic, like
I feel
the money
like
they did into it, cannot even matter that much.
I feel like with the popularity, like say, like if Resident Evil can shift that many copies, like I feel like I don't see why Alan Wake couldn't, like with enough marketing and oomph and stuff. Like I feel like that type of game is more in vogue than it was, say, when the first Alan Wake came out.
I reckon
But I can
physical had some impact. Not a lot, but like just not seeing it in stores and stuff would have to have some impact on for a marketing element, maybe. But
yeah,
we'll see, guess.
I do wonder if that hurt it, but then I assume the cost associated with marketing and distribution and all that kind of stuff for physical maybe offsets that. You know, maybe they have that, and that's maybe part of why they went this way, like digital only. So they did have to sell less to be successful. I hope, maybe. But yeah,
Fingers crossed. It's a phenomenal game. And I think the fact that I've like persisted with it and like raved about it as much as I have, despite incurring like a game breaking bug and not been able to play it the last like 2 weeks, is a testament to just like how good the game is. So I really hope people will kind of give it a go and they're not deterred by the fact that it's a bit spooky or that it's a sequel to a 13-year-old game. Because that hasn't phased me. I've really enjoyed it.
When I think about it, like Resi is obviously quite straightforward if you're following in the story, but I think thematically Alan Wake is quite hard to kind of get into. So that might hurt it, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I know the remaster, they literally came out and said the remaster of the first game did not do what they wanted it to do. So I hope that doesn't repeat itself here. But
yeah, it's tricky. Think, like even the naming is going to work against it, right? Like you have a number in there.
Yeah,
that suddenly hurts.
It's not even Alan Wake 2, really. Like it's Saga Anderson, but you can't call it that. That's like, you know, doesn't quite have the same ring to it. But yeah, I think obviously talking about Max Payne, they also opted an update on that, and I feel like that brand is maybe, I don't know, actually, maybe that's because I'm old, but I feel like that brand is a bit stronger, maybe, although, did you play Max Payne, Ewan?
No, I've got no connection to Max Payne whatsoever.
Yeah, okay. See, that's like my litmus test for like Zoomers, is like, I just ask Ewan, see what he thinks, and I go from there. They'll just chuck him in Fortnite, and it'll be fine. Everyone will know who he is. But I like the idea that they're kind of putting Max Payne 1 and 2 together into this remake, because that story-wise that makes a lot of sense. But they've basically said that that's in the production readiness phase, and that I guess that's going to be their next game, basically.
I'd be interested to see like what creative control Rockstar, because that's being funded by Rockstar.
Yes,
they're
they own Max Payne, right?
Yeah. I think their like agreement was that Rockstar funds it, and then after they make their money back, then Remedy gets the rest of the money, or something like that. So I'm interested to see if they like how they tie that into like, I guess, like the tone of Max Payne 3, or like if they really kind of exert a lot of creative control over that, or if they let Remedy do their thing.
Would there have to be an agreement that says that like Remedy would make the next Max Payne, or could Rockstar just go and get whoever they wanted to do it? You would think there would have to be something in place, right?
Well, that's kind of what happened with Max Payne 3. Like Rockstar kind of just made it without. There was all kind of like fuck arounds with like publishers and selling the rights and stuff. They basically
I feel like it's a sorry.
I'm surprised they're working together again, because I feel like
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, like there were that whole situation wasn't really good for Remedy. I don't think, like, they kind of just took that away from them and then gave it to one of their own teams. And that's why Max Payne 1 and 2 together makes so much sense. Max Payne 3 not so much. Like that's definitely its own thing. Yeah. But to answer your question, Shannon, like I think Rockstar will just do whatever they want. And I think their team, and they can do whatever they want because they're so big. I mean, Max Payne 3 was good too, but it was a very different game to Max Payne 1 and 2. So it's interesting to see how those games will work though today, you know, because it is just an action game. Like you just shoot shit.
They'll
like,
have good appeal, I think.
I think so too.
You still hosting, James?
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm actually in Max Payne right now. Then I also mentioned the mention of a cooperative multiplayer game that's at a production readiness stage. You don't have to highlight the paragraphs, you and I can see it.
Oh, sorry. No, it was just clicking.
I thought he was trying to like tell me what to read. I'm like, I know how to read. Like, thanks.
I was just fidgeting. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. So Remedy is also working on a co-op multiplayer game, and another game called Vanguard. Are you guys keen for anything Remedy does? I guess. I mean, I am. Like,
I am, but like, yeah, like, is this a project like that they're leading and care about, or is it another that game that escapes
Crossfire.
my? Yeah, is it another
Yeah.
Crossfire? Because yeah, like the
Mm.
quality between that and everything else they've done is just I don't even understand how that happened. Still,
I think I understand how that happened. I think it was a publisher issue, personally. But
okay.
But yeah, Remedy couldn't even save that. So
I think at this point, Remedy
yeah.
have earned the reputation for me to like, no matter what they put out, whatever they play, like I'm willing to give a go, even if that is something that's radically different that like as a cooperative multiplayer game might be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll have to see.
We will have to see.
I think I just heard space noises. Shannon like going to hyperdrive or something? What's
Like a bus drove past my house. I don't know if that was... But there's nothing
me.
spacey
Space
about
bus.
that. Yeah.
It just coincided with like light shining on Shannon's face too.
So this next part is written as if I'm asking myself. So I
Yeah,
don't really know.
I was waiting for that.
I think you
Read
wrote
it
this
out.
when he was hosting.
Well, okay.
So before we what go, you maybe you should.
I was going to jump in and quiz you. Do you want me to do that,
okay.
or do you want to spin it?
Absolutely. This is really well planned.
Well,
Let's peek behind the curtain.
I have a rapid fire question specifically for you, James, because I know we
really?
don't want to labor
Wow.
on the point too much. So I thought a rapid fire question would be a fun way to approach it. You will be able to talk about Super Mario RPG more soon, but you did put out a preview on the website this kind of past week. I was curious, like in the style of rapid fire question, is this a game that Mario fans should be excited for?
Yes.
Nice.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's early days in the world of preview land. But yeah, so far it is enjoyable. It's faster than I thought it would be. Obviously. But then I like turn-based, and I feel like even if you don't like turn-based, it moves fast enough that it doesn't feel like I don't know. Do you guys all like turn-based games? Like
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
that doesn't surprise me. Yeah. but like I don't know. I hate that people don't like turn-based because I feel like a lot of people when they think about it, they think of like Pokemon, which is like quite slow. But this flows quite fast. So there's one thing I can say in these early days, it's that it's not a slow turn-based game. It feels quite fast. It's very simple, like a very good first RPG for like kids or families or even just somebody who doesn't want to play a game for 30 something hours.
Yeah.
For me, there needs to be more to it than just like click menus. Like there needs to be an element of like timing or like something like
What about
that makes it.
If you can like tap a button to jump on a shell, and if you do that, you do more damage?
Well,
how does that?
Yeah,
sound?
well, that's what. I like Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi games because there's like something to like pique your interest. You're not just mashing a button.
This is the game for you, then, Shannon.
Okay,
Have I got news for you?
Load me up.
Absolutely, RP and
Plug you
G
in.
all at once. But yeah, obviously,
this, aren't I?
the review will go up
do.
at some point in the future.
Nice.
And we'll have our full thoughts, feelings, and penetrating insights then.
Okay. All right. Cool.
But onto the real rapid fire question, which I've just read for the first time. Is the addition of Lightning McQueen enough to entice you back to Rocket League? I'm just going to jump in and say, like, I was never there, so I'm not going back, and I will be continuing to stay away. But
and I'm the complete opposite. I was always there, baby. And Lightning McQueen coming to it just got me more excited. I'm all in.
Repulsive. But I'm glad you're happy. Shannon?
Cars is like the one Disney Pixar property. I don't think I've seen Cars and I just have no interest. But like, I would just come back to Rocket League just if you invited me, Ewan, to play with the real friends.
You're always
I'm
welcome.
probably more likely to get an invitation from them than you.
We will definitely be playing casual matches with you, but got back to Diamond last night. It's such a slog. I'm clearly not the best Rocket League player in the world, but it's fun. I can't believe you've never seen Cars. I'm still getting over that.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's just
but-
like
Mm.
I
The
think
first
I
one's
just think
worth
of
it.
like oil and gas and just like like I just want. It's just not good.
Yeah, like
it's not-
monsters. Give me
Yeah.
weird. Yeah,
I've
like, not
literally
Cars.
see you eating like a whole microwaved burger, like bun and all, and you're like complaining
Yeah.
about
Wow,
oil and
really
exhaust.
making this personal.
Yeah, you're just attacking me now. Like I did that. I did that for the show. Like what have you done for the show?
Oh god.
Yeah, nah. It's I don't know what it is. Like radiators and like engines and shit. Like nah, I'm not interested. Do you know what I mean? Like give me
Mm.
a lost fish or a hairy monster any day.
A rat.
Yeah,
that-
yeah. A cooking rat. But Kieran, are you playing Rocket League again because of Lightning McQueen?
Have
you got
again, I don't know.
Another 87 platinums to earn.
Like Lightning McQueen could entice me to do anything. So
Wow, that's
sure.
interesting. Cool.
Have you got the
Ciao.
platinum in Rocket League? It's very easy.
Is there a
I've never
platinum?
played Rocket League,
Ah.
Wow, that's even.
but I
I've
will
played
now
it,
that you said that.
that it has a platinum.
It takes
It's
a
a
bit of
very good
time, but
game.
it's very achievable.
Oh no,
If it takes time, he's not interested.
no.
Easy only. Cool. Well, that was great. Very successful. Thanks, Ewan. It was actually rapid. That's how good it was. So let's move on to what the wiki, Press Start Podcast game show, where the previous week's winner reads part of a Wikipedia page for an unknown game, and the contestants must guess the game. A point is awarded for each correct guess, and the round ends after one person scores 2 points. I'm obviously winning, so I'm on 30 points. Brody's on 29. Shannon and Kieran are together on 27. Ewan's on 23, and Harry and James Woods is on 1. So, Kieran, as last week's winner, you're in the hosting chair.
Why do you need that? We've got our
Yeah.
own copy.
I
Kieran,
forgot
so
that I
anyone
drew it
who's-
in the week, and I was
Not
like, it's a
Kieran.
prop for the video version. It's the scoreboard on a whiteboard.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So if anyone, is not watching the video, well, Ewan just held up a physical scoreboard, so very
good.
that's it. I mean, if you didn't want to watch the video version, now you've got a reason to. I don't know what else would make you.
I bet there's people out there that have always
That
gone,
is-
I wonder what Ewan's handwriting looks like. Now you can find out.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Show me again. No.
Mm.
But anyway, Kieran, let's go.
Yes.
Take us away. Host us with the most us.
Sure. Let's get
Thanks.
into it. Although the atmosphere of this game was heavily influenced by Japanese horror, the developers' primary goal was to make the player feel like the hero of an action film. To this end, they combined a slow motion technique called reflex time, a semi-destructible environment, and a highly detailed particle system in an attempt to create as immersive an environment as possible. Another vital James?
Is it fear?
Oh God! Yes, it's fear. How did you
Damn,
get
it's
that
too
from
good.
that?
I don't know.
I was like, they'll get it in the next bit, but like,
I was going to
alright.
say like The Sims 3 just to see what happens. But yeah, no, sorry. I
Okay,
can't,
well done.
Yeah.
This next game is a racing video game with arcade-style gameplay that emphasizes dangerous and fast-paced driving. The game features standard circuit races, which take place on carriageways and city streets, populated with traffic. The single race mode puts the player against 5 AI opponents in single or multiple lap races. During a race, boost is earned by acts of reckless driving, such as drifting around corners, near misses with traffic, and driving in oncoming lanes.
Shannon.
Shannon.
Burnout. 2.
No, sorry. Stop.
It's not Burnout 2.
Ewan,
Ewan.
is it Burnout Paradise?
It's not Burnout Paradise, Ewan.
Yeah, that was.
Boost earn can be used immediately, and unlike previous games in the series, which required the boost meter to be full, the quickest method for earning boost is a takedown, a central
Ewan.
mechanic.
Shannon,
introduced in
Can I
this
bust back in?
installment of the series.
Mhm.
I think that was Shannon, and yeah, you're both.
But I don't know.
bust back in.
Burnout. Takedown.
Ewan. Don't pay that.
Burnout.
Don't pay that.
It's Burnout.
We've
3
paid
Takedown, isn't
mine
it?
for less.
No. You can't pay that. Putting my foot down. What number
James?
is it, Shannon?
What do you want me to do?
3. I think
Do
it's
you-
3. It is 3. Burnout 3 Takedown, isn't it?
Oh, well, I've gifted it to you now, really.
I've got heaps more. We can just skip it.
I feel like it's
I'm
always
rather
harder
than
for Shani, isn't
Rather
it?
than
It's
give
just-
Shannon
that's
a
when the
point,
rules-
we'll just skip the round.
Yeah.
It's up to you guys. I'm gonna keep going, or
I
I'd say I
reckon
should
just-
we need to
let's
really
give
set
Shannon
like
the
some.
point.
I was the first to say Burnout.
I mean,
No one
Kieran,
else
do you
deserved
feel
to
any
get it.
different? Like, you both are on 27 points at the moment. You sure you want
Oh
to
my
give that
God,
point to
really?
Shannon?
it's fine.
Prop-
Shannon can take
prop.
it. Shannon, you can have it.
Thanks.
God damn
The
Jesus
first
Christ.
gift I've had on this game show.
Oh,
I feel.
wow.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Gave James fear. Like,
Moving on. The game's development lasted over 8 years, beginning soon after the original's release, and it became one of the most expensive video games ever made. The developer co-opted all of its studios into one large team to facilitate development. They drew influence from real locations as opposed to film or art, focusing on creating an accurate reflection of the time with the game's characters and world. The game was this developer's first built specifically for 8th generation consoles, having tested their technical capabilities while porting another game. The game's soundtrack features an original score composed by Woody Jackson and several vocal tracks produced by Daniel Lenoir. Development included a crunch schedule of 100-hour weeks, leading to reports of mandatory and unpaid overtime. The game's online multiplayer mode lets up to 32 players engage in a variety of cooperative and competitive game modes. Really?
oh
Ewan.
God,
Oh,
you don't
no.
have 3.
I feel like this is either the correct answer or it's totally the wrong answer. It is very embarrassing. Is it GTA 5?
It's not GTA 5.
Oh, shit.
It was
Shannon.
released for Shannon.
What's
Grand Theft
eighth
Auto
generation?
4.
It's not Grand Theft Auto 4. This game was released for the PS4 and Xbox One in October 2018,
Tell
and
me
for
when I can go back
Windows
again.
in November 2019.
Oh!
Can I go around? Shannon,
Ewan.
Shannon. Say Shannon again.
All right,
Give it to Ewan.
it's the next sentence is the next paragraph. If
No. Oh, so Ewan's not back either.
So I think
James
that-
to the
I think
steal.
whoever says it first.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does that mean we keep
feels
going?
like
This
this
round's
only
going
feels
for
fair.
years. Okay.
Ape Escape.
The game is a first-person shooter with role-playing and stealth elements set in an open-world environment. The player takes the role of a character, a human aboard a space station with numerous species of hostile aliens. The
Ewan.
player is able to...
Oh, wait,
Ewan.
shit. No, I've got the. No, it's not Prey.
Oh, I just had it.
Is that your guess?
Prey is my guess.
Yeah, it's Prey.
Oh, is
Fuck,
it?
man.
That's
That's so annoying.
I thought you said like third person, and then you said multiple aliens, and I was like, I don't think that is Prey, but
It all
It does say
Oh.
numerous species, which I don't know how accurate that is, but
yeah, yeah. Amazing.
there you go.
Come from behind, win. You'll love to see it.
Well, your holes
Um,
are plugged, so coming from behind doesn't do anything. Okay, so with that, yep, update the scoreboard. There you go. Thank you. He's like one of those people who
It's
can't
tight
speak.
at the top,
so he's
isn't
just
it?
writing. Yeah, it is. It's getting hot and heavy. So with that, let us bring an end to this week's episode of the Press Start podcast. Subscribe to us on Listener or the podcast service of your choice. Follow us at press.au and visit the site at pressstart.com.au. We've been joined today by Shannon.
Yes, you can follow me at Shannon Grixty. What is Ewan scribbling?
I'm just
He's
keeping the
updating the
scoreboard
scoreboard.
updated. Yeah.
We've also been joined by Kieran.
HASH_BRAUN on some things.
Ewan.
Thank you for having me on the show, James. You can follow me on socials at
Your
UN_Oxborough. Seeing as we queried it earlier in the show, I did do some fact checking for you. And J.J. Abrams is involved with Silent Hill Ascension. He is the founder and CEO of Bad Robot Games, which co-developed Silent Hill's Ascension and created the art direction, sound design, and monster designs for the project. That's according to SilentHillFandom.com.
What's all the worst
Did a
stuff?
terrible
So
job.
that's a shame. Yeah. Literally. And then obviously I've been your host James, and you can follow me on Twitter at James8TJMZ. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, happy gaming.
Bye.
Bye.